I didn't go home for 5 years, and the day before the Chinese New Year's Eve, I rushed back to the village by high-speed train. I came back this time because my sister sent me a message telling me that the old thing was seriously ill and probably wouldn't survive this winter. So I came back. Back at the entrance of the village, everything seemed normal, but in my eyes, it was full of stench. 5 years. The village has developed. I don't know what I look like, but it has nothing to do with me. I'll come back. Just want to see it with your own eyes. The old thing is dead. The first time I got home, I didn't go to the hospital bed. That old thing. Instead, go to me. That relatively normal sister. At least. 5 years ago, she's still normal. You can come to my sister's room. I didn't see her. I thought she had changed rooms, but I flattened the whole building. She was not found either. It's as if it disappeared into thin air. There is not even a trace of living there. That old thing can't be counted on. So I went to the house next door. I'm going to ask where my little sister is gone. But I heard that I asked my sister about it. Didn't even let me in. Only one crack in the door was opened. Said to me with half of his face exposed. You haven't been back for 5 years. A lot is happening in the village. Your sister, she. I saw that she didn't speak for a long time. I asked anxiously. Suyu, what's wrong with him? I don't know if I'm scared or what. Just finished saying this. The door closed with a small thud. Moment. I felt a gloom behind me. Turn your head. I saw the old man in the village basking in the sun at the door. All eyes were on me. I would have liked to ask a few more questions, but I always feel it. The atmosphere in the village is strange. I didn't ask again. Back home, I called my sister as soon as I could. The call just went out. I heard the phone ringing. Follow the sound. I was on top of the air conditioning in my sister's room. Found her phone. Dim your phone. The moment you see the wallpaper screen, it suddenly made my brow furrow. It reads, "Brother, thank you." I don't understand what this sentence means. The phone doesn't have a password. After opening, I'm in the memo. I found a letter from my sister. Brother, by the time you read this letter, I was gone, leaving this place forever. The village that had imprisoned me for 5 years. Thank you, brother. Because of your arrival I can leave. And at the same time I am sorry for you. My departure will keep you here forever. I endured it for 5 whole years, but this time I couldn't take it anymore. So I called you back and called me. I'm sorry. The 5 years you've been away, the village is getting stranger and stranger. There are often dead people in the village, but the next day, they will walk on the road safe and sound. I'm scared, so much so that he didn't even dare to go out of his house again. Later, my father told me not to be afraid. Those people are not dead. It's about living in another way. This method is called spiritualism. Back then, he forced his mother to death. I just want my mother to conjure spirits. Always by our side. It's just that something happened. Only then did my mother really die. She told me, as long as I stay in the village, we'll not go back to the old path of mother. In this village, there are some unwritten village rules. Just comply. They will not do anything to you. Although you can't live without it anymore, but if you want to live normally in this place, don't violate these village rules. Article 1. When night falls, they will gradually become apparent. Among them, midnight is always the most popular. Don't cross paths with them too much. If they communicate with you, be sure to end the conversation within 3 sentences. Article 2. When you can see the sun and the moon at the same time in the sky, please keep yourself in a space with only one door. Don't open anything when you knock on it. Don't answer either. Article 3. In the village, don't mention those who have fled from their villages. For example, I have a mother. If anyone mentions us to you, don't answer. Article 4. When you break any of the above rules, you're going to be targeted by them. When sleeping at night, be sure to light 3 red candles at the bedside. and sleep soundly before the candle burns out. If you hear someone calling you, don't answer. Article 5. When someone dies in the village, each family member needs to be sent by one. Go to the ancestral hall for a unified spiritualist ceremony. Thereunto, the ceremony must be carried out in full accordance with the form prescribed by the village chief. Article 6. If the deceased is a family member, and it just happened to be a festival, 2 spiritualist rituals are required. One of the conjuring. It needs to be done at midnight. Article 7. When you see a house in the village with a red lantern hanging at the door, it means that the family is dead. Don't enter. Don't accept their invitations either. Article 8. During the holidays, any festival, the first village rule will no longer apply. There is a custom in the village to exchange red envelopes. When the back sends you a red envelope, you can return a red envelope and decline. But I'll give you a red envelope first. You can't refuse it under any circumstances. Article 9. If you accept a red envelope, most of the red envelopes will not contain cash. It's what they want you to do. When opening a red envelope, be sure to light a red candle in front of you. Pick 3 things out of all the red packets that you think you can do. The rest were all burned. Article 10. When you confront those souls, don't try to hurt them. Maybe you can get a momentary victory, but the consequences are definitely not something you can afford to bear. That's all I can help you with. If you encounter something else that can't be solved, you can go to the village store. Find someone named Yin Zhenglin. She is a person who can be trusted. Love your sister forever. Su Yu. After reading the letter, I sighed deeply. The sigh wasn't because my sister lied to me. It's because I still don't know. What has she been through in the past 5 years? If only I could have known earlier. Even if she doesn't hide it, I'm willing to call her. 5 years ago, that old thing drove my mother to suicide. In a fit of rage, I decided to leave here with my sister. But my sister was only 13 years old at the time. The mind is not yet mature. Won't come with me. If I had been tougher at the time, maybe. Not waiting for me to grieve. Suddenly, there was a cough behind him. Go back. It's the old thing that's supposed to be on the pests. I don't know when it came behind me. Son, you're finally back. Moon, pour your brother a glass of water. She shouted. I took a glass of raw water from a water cup. Then I drank it myself. Not seen for 5 years. I didn't expect her to become like this. Maybe that's retribution. I ignored her. After leaving the house, he walked still to the entrance of the village. I want to verify this. What my sister said is inseparable from the village. What is inseparable from the FA? It's hard to say that there are still people reading me at the entrance of the village. Because the village is not big. Soon after, I came to the entrance of the village. But what you can see in front of you, I was immediately stunned. I saw the first village path that originally led to the mainland. They were blocked by big trees. A jungle was formed. Look at the root traces of these trees. It doesn't look like it was planted not so long ago. But I only walked this road 2 hours ago. It can't just come out of nowhere. With doubts, I'm trying to step into this jungle. But at this moment, a voice behind me called me out. Hey, I advise you not to go in, unless you want to put a red light in front of your house. Go back. I saw a man with a cigarette in his mouth, standing at the entrance of a kiosk. If I'm not mistaken, this person is the Yin Zhenglin that my sister said. Someone I've never met in a village. What the hell is going on? I stepped forward and asked. She took a deep puff of her cigarette. He looked at me strangely. Then he replied slowly. No comment. Then do you know Su Yu? She's my sister. I continued to ask. Yin Zhenglin did not answer. Turn around and go back to the counter of the commissary. If you're going to buy something, I welcome. If you want to talk to me, I'm sorry about that. It's that I can't accompany me. After all, you can't say anything. Hear this. I suddenly remembered what my sister had said. Unwritten village rules. In the village, don't mention those. People who fled from the village, like me, and the mother, realize that you are saying the wrong thing. I didn't ask any more questions. Turn around. The people in this village. He began to look at me with strange eyes again. A weird smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Looks like I've offended today. Twice the village rules that my sister said. Go back. Yin Zhonglin has prepared it for me. A bag of stuff. And said. A total of 182.8. Cashier sweeping. I took the bag. There were about a dozen red candles inside. Do you need so much? And a few more candles, you take me 188. The more the merrier. Feel relieved. Absolutely no value for money. If it weren't for my sister saying you could be trusted, I'm not volunteering. I would have asked her for contact information. From the beginning, she looked at me with disdain. I guess it won't be given to me either. I didn't ask. After leaving the little step, I went to a few more paths that I remembered to be able to leave the village. But these roads are either blocked by woods or cut off by rapids. There is simply no way out. Walk through the woods or lie down into the rapids. I don't know what to expect. But my sister said she couldn't do without it. The instructions are definitely dangerous. When you get home, it was already past 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The old thing lay back on the bed. It may be incontinence. There was a foul stench in his room. I didn't care about him. Tired of the day. I'm also going to take a good rest. Clean up your room. After taking a shower, it was close to 5 o'clock. The sky gradually darkened. When in bed, I read the village rules and my sister's letter over and over again. Actually, there was a moment. I also questioned what my sister said. After all, 5 years. It is completely possible to change a person. So I used my sister's phone. An attempt was made to call the police. I thought it would be the same as a lot of storylines. The phone doesn't work. Or something the other person says something they don't understand. I didn't expect it. The phone was connected directly. I spoke to the officer on the other end of the line about what had happened to me. They found out quickly. Our small village table is called Xinfu Village. Just when I thought I saw hope. Closer, we learned. The whole village of Xinfu Village was 4 years ago. It was demolished due to the construction of the expressway. Excuse me, am you mistaken? When you hear this, I double-checked that I hadn't typed the wrong number. I also repeatedly confirmed whether the other party was really a police officer. I even asked them to look up where I was. As a result, it was. They couldn't locate my phone either. I tried to explain, but no normal person would believe this kind of thing. After getting a criticism of the other party, educate, I recognized the reality. What the police said was true. That means, now the people of this village, none of them are living except me. Or rather, they're not who I know them anymore. It's true. These 5 years, my sister and I kept in touch all the time. She wouldn't tell me a lot of things, though. But there is such a thing as demolition. You shouldn't hide it from me. Again, if there is no living creature in this village, then I guess they have already been divided. If it's the same as I guessed, there's only one way to explain all this. That is, I'm in Xinfu Village right now. It is not in the same space as reality. Moreover, the people of this village are still alive. Didn't know they were in this space. Apart from... Before I could finish thinking about it, suddenly, there was a knock on the closed door. Knock knock, knock knock. So many strange things have happened. I didn't dare to respond immediately. And then it came again. The sound of a doorknob being pulled. I have a habit of locking doors. The door won't open at all. I glanced at the time. It was 5:30 in the afternoon. It's hard to do it. With doubts, I pulled back the curtains. The sun is about to set at this time, but there was a full moon in the sky. The sun and the moon are in ashes. It's not an unusual phenomenon, but half an hour ago, the sky was overcast. Now only a few remnants remain. It's also too coincidental. This makes me a little confused, but it also shows that this place is not the world as I know it. When you can see the sun and the moon at the same time in the sky, please keep yourself in a space with only one door. Don't open anything when you knock on it. Don't answer either. This corresponds to this rule. At this time, the sun gradually disappears into the sky. There was no more movement outside the door of the room. It seems that everything is back to calm. But when I close the curtains, when you turn around, an old man I didn't know at all. He was standing in front of me with his head tilted. I don't know if it's because I have a strong psychological quality. Still too scared to scream. Anyway, the second I saw him, he subconsciously kicked him away. The old man fell to the ground. One arm was visibly crushed off with the naked eye, but he was like a nobody. Began to slowly get up from the ground. I glanced at the door. The door was not opened. So how did he get in? Cabinets. Doors. Damn it. Why don't you write this rule clearly? I just don't know. Steel doors don't count. I don't have much time to think. Before the old man stood up, I grabbed the bag of red candles next to me, hiding in the closet. Soon, the sound of banging on the wardrobe began to be heard. In the dark, I fumbled out a lighter and a red candle from my bag to light it. Just as I was thinking, will the old man pull the door open? Outside, the beating suddenly stopped. The door slowly opened a crack. The old man's crooked head was exposed. You. Have you eaten it? The old man was facing me, asked out this sentence. I didn't dare answer. I didn't dare to make much of a move, until I found out. He can't seem to see me at all. I dared to move my body. You. How old? I moved my body to the other side of the wardrobe. The old man was still staring. That place just now, kissing some inexplicable questions. Then, he began to sing again. Strangely enough, he only sings one sentence of each song. It's my little apple. Now I'm physically and mentally exhausted. I just want to get a good night's sleep. Even if the sky falls, it won't stop me. Don't take his place. The king's end is my love. So I lit 3 candles and put them in front of me. Then he closed his eyes. This night, because I'm so tired, plus the old man's lullaby, I slept deeply. It's heavy. Until the old man's singing stopped. The cabinet door slammed. Close and wake me up. The night is over. Get out of the closet. I was about to sleep a little more in bed. Suddenly there was a small voice downstairs. Su Yao, are you at home? Su Yao. I didn't want to deal with her. I couldn't help but keep shouting. So he went downstairs and opened the door. Because of yesterday's events, Fei Xiao doesn't seem to have slept all night. There are 2 huge dark circles reflected on the face. What's wrong? I asked him. Fei Xiao said as he lifted the thing in his hand. Oh yes. Isn't your dad sick? This is the medicine that the village chief asked me to send him. You say him. I don't want to leave him alone. Or do me another favor. Give him the smell of the medicine. Yes. Hear this answer. I shuddered inside. Yes. In my impression, Fei Xiao would not agree to such a request at all. At most, he threw me the medicine. Let me feed myself. How did you become like this? Good luck with you. Face this problem. He didn't answer. Instead, it passed past me. Still walked to the old thing's room. I can't explain it 100 times. Suddenly, there was a scream in the room. Come to the room. Fei Xiao and I happened to collide head-on. What's wrong with it? I asked. Li Baotao. He's dead. The moment I heard the news, I was both happy and sad. Happy because it was 5 years ago. The culprit who killed his mother, finally dead. Saddened. It's because today is the 32nd day of the Chinese New Year's Eve. Chinese New Year's Eve. When someone dies in the village, each household is required to send a family member, go to the ancestral hall for a unified spiritualist ceremony. The ceremonies must be carried out in full accordance with the form prescribed by the village chief. The deceased are family members, and it just happened to be a festival. 2 spiritualist rituals are required. One of the conjurings must take place at midnight. The funeral of that old thing was handled by the village chief Quan Chun. All I have to do is, when everything is ready, perform a spiritualist ritual. This is called the spiritualist ritual. I didn't want to do it, but at the moment I refused. The old men in the village began to look fierce, especially the village chief and several elderly people who are nearly 100 years old. That look almost ate half of me. People are under the eaves. Had to bow his head. In desperation, I can only say yes. The first bastardization ceremony. It was 12 o'clock at noon. Before 12 o'clock, many people gathered in the ancestral hall of the ancestors. Although my sister's village rules say each household only needs to send one person, but apparently the whole village came. The coffin of the old thing, placed in front of the ancestors' spirit tablet, and the village chief was standing by the coffin. Ignore the eye. Open. With the village chief's order, the conjuring has officially begun. Except for me, everyone lined up. Bite your fingers. Put a drop of your own blood. Passed it into the wrist of the village chief's hand. It turns out that this is called a spiritualist ritual. It is to collect the blood of the whole village. Just when I thought it wasn't a big deal, the village chief put that in a bowl. The blood of the whole village was handed to me. Here's what's going on, I asked. Drink it. Yes. Drink it. Your father can be turned into a broken body, forever in the world. Can I say no then? I don't want that old thing at all. Didn't wait for me to finish. Suddenly, some of the village's sturdy young men married me off from behind. Then he poured the bowl of blood into my mouth. I want to rebel, but nothing can be done at all. After drinking that bowl of blood, I got on my knees and retched for a long time, until the people in the ancestral hall are almost gone. I was relieved. At this time, the village chief walked up to me. A strange smile appeared on his face. He pulled out a red envelope from his pocket. Today is attendance. The number of courtesies is indispensable. This is a red envelope to accompany you. Look at the red envelope. I smiled wryly next. During the holidays, only for any holiday, the village has a custom of exchanging red envelopes. When juniors send you red envelopes, you can return a red envelope and decline. But the ancestors give you red envelopes. You can't refuse it under any circumstances. Red envelope. Fuck it. It's a disaster, don't worry. And yes, this time tonight, you're going to have to come here for a conjuring. Remember to be here on time. Otherwise, hey. The village chief said. One side left the ancestral hall. The weird smile on his mouth never stopped. He didn't finish his sentence, but I understand the meaning. Damn it, this old thing. Being a village chief really makes me an official. After a complete relief, I left the ancestral hall. Pressing matter. It's going to have to be figured out. How can I be in the time of the fifth master? Don't go to the ancestral hall. Or, how can I get from there? Come out alive. My sister's heart. There's no workaround. Then I can only go to Yinzhenglin. On the way to the village entrance kiosk, there are a few more old people. Stuff me with a red envelope. I would have liked to put these red envelopes, then send it to the juniors who are younger than me, and be along the way. I didn't even find out. Someone who is significantly smaller than me. Either peers. Either they are all elders. Even I'm in this village. I haven't seen a single child. Come to the commissary. In Zhonglin saw my embarrassed appearance. Seems to be quite happy. Why didn't I see you in the ancestral hall just now? I asked. I'm not from your village. Those things. I don't need to participate. Small. He said he could trust you. Tonight. What should I do? In Zhonglin smiled. A look of nonchalance. Said. What else can I do? Just go normally. Then you do what you were asked to do. Others, brother. Don't make fun of me. I guess you're a Taoist. Give me some captives or copper wire or something. I'll give you as much as you want. You think this is Lin Yi's novel to make a movie? Return to the Taoist. Why don't you say I'm Lin Ji? So what the hell am I going to do? I told you at the beginning. Just go normally. Infinite and fuck off. I'm a little angry, but he gritted his teeth and responded. Yes. When I turned to leave, he said again. And don't do anything superfluous. On the way home, I'm wondering how I'm going to spend tonight, and how to deal with the red envelope in your hand. If you follow your sister's method, there must be at least 3 left. If you can give it all away, that of course is the best. Just thinking about it, suddenly not far from the door of the house, I saw a few children from the village. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just like I looked, you can give away all the red envelopes. Unlucky for so long. Finally, I came across something that was good for me. I hurried over to the group of children. I gave them the red envelopes one by one. Their weird expressions after receiving the red envelope, and I received the red envelope is like a spot. This kind of red envelope that is not money in it. It's not good for anyone to receive it. Back home, I wanted to post online asking for help. But that's when I found out. Except for my sister's phone. Other phones don't send any messages at all. I can't make a phone call either. I used my sister's phone to post a plea online. About half an hour later, the post received a lot of responses. There was a heated discussion among many people. But these replies, I basically think I'm making up stories. Some comments that seem to be seriously replied. In fact, it's all ridicule. Just when I was at a loss, a netizen named Qing Ziyuan, a private message, caught my attention. Brother, you're entering a world of weird rules. What to say? I asked him. The rules are weird. Name implies, in that world, there will always be in various forms, some incomprehensible rules. Usually, those rules, not entirely credible. And that's what my sister wrote to me. She wouldn't lie to me. How to prove? Or rather, how to prove what your sister wrote. It's the right rule. Can. These are the words she said. I couldn't find any reason to refute it. Should I follow the rules or not? Rules are to be followed. It depends on the actual situation. Choice. But I'm in the right place. No matter how it feels, it's a dead end. You can take you after entering the village. Tell me everything that happened. Maybe I can help you figure it out. The next period of time, I took me back to the village later. Everything I've been through tells me. Read my story. She was silent for a few moments before replying. Based on your experience, I have summarized the following points. First, those village rules are summarized by your sister herself, so it's not entirely credible. It's up to you to verify it yourself. And you find out no. It's only been 2 days since you returned to the village that you've already touched the rules. Second, every rule tale will have some key artifacts. I want to get out of that world alive. You have to make good use of those things. Probably your sister's phone. It could be the red candle, or those red envelopes. Third, something unknown must have happened in your village. If only I could inquire about those things. Maybe it will help you leave. Fourth, the origin of this person named Ying Lin is unknown. Be careful at all times. If he enters this world of weirdness with you, there's a good chance he's your enemy. Yin Zhonglin is the enemy. It seems that it is indeed possible. But then again, you look very experienced. Because I've been into the weird world twice. It's hard to think without experience. Twice. The first time was in an alley. Being a little boy, at the same time entered that world. Under the pressure of the rules. I killed the little boy by mistake. Back to reality. I became a murderer, sentenced to death, went to jail. And this is the second time. It's in prison. It was a scene I never forgot for the rest of my life. Foolish. Luckily, I'm still from that weird world. Escaped, and I was able to get out of prison. What the hell is going on in this world? I don't know. Now I'll help you. I just hope you can help me prove my innocence when you come out. Nature. Naturally, they don't necessarily believe it. Rest assured, bro. As long as we get out, definitely help you. Thank you. After you in the chat, I took a hard look at my sister's phone, and those red candles. The reason why my sister's mobile phone can contact the outside world is because of the inside of the phone. There was an unusual black calling card. As for where this card came from, perhaps it was given to him by the witness. And those red candles, think back to last night's experience. In the case of lighting a red candle, the old man didn't do anything to me anymore. So there are only two possibilities. One is that those so-called souls are afraid of the flame. The second is that they are afraid of burning red candles. But it doesn't matter. The two are not in conflict. Just wear a red candle. And as for those red envelopes received, I'm afraid there's no way to find out now. Then take advantage of the fact that it is still dark. I came to Fa Xiaojia again. Knock on his door. With the door creaked open, Fa Xiao poked out half of his head again. See, it's me. He even closed the door a little more. Don't be afraid. I came to you this time just to ask. After I left the village 5 years ago, what's going on here? Fa Xiao was silent for a while. Slowly. After you leave. Nothing happened. It was the village chief who gave us a happy life. Hear these manuscript-like words. I immediately sensed something was wrong. I found that in addition to the hair is small, I haven't seen any of his family. Every time I come to his house, he also spoke to me through the crack in the door. That's right. How's your mom doing now? I've heard about it before. After she gave birth to you, there was a problem with the ancestral palace. So I asked him. Blessing to the head of my village. My mom is in good health now. Chief. It will also be treated. Fa Xiao didn't respond to my words. 20 said. If nothing else, let's not talk about it for now. I still have work to do. After saying that, didn't even wait for me to keep it. He slammed the door shut. Good. Now I get it. This is how the village has become. It is very likely that the village chief is responsible. It was 5:30 in the evening. The sky is getting darker. Look up. The white clouds in the sky want to receive the other half. Disperse in all directions. An eerie full moon was revealed. The sun had already set, so I don't have to worry about breaking that rule. Inside the dimly lit village road, there seems to be a lot of mystery that I don't know, looming in the darkness. It seems that this is the Chinese New Year's Eve of the 30th day of the Chinese New Year's Eve. It's not good. The time to come. I'm all recuperating at home. Until the first 10 minutes of this time, I just left the house with the red candle. The new year is coming. Even if it's late at night, the village is still bustling with activity. It even feels a little crowded. It's different. Now there is no more noisy firecrackers, as well as fireworks. The only symbol of the upcoming new year. It's the red lantern hanging in front of someone's house. but say it's a red lantern. Inside the lantern, however, there was an eerie glow of daylight. On my way to the ancestral hall, many people wanted to invite me to their homes, but I rejected them all on the grounds that I was in a hurry. They wanted to keep asking. I learned that I was going to the ancestral hall. Didn't say anything more. Originally, I set off 10 minutes before the picking. It's the right choice. Come to the ancestral hall. It was already full of people. The people on the road just now, plus the people here. I never thought about it. There are so many people in the village. It's very gloomy in this ancestral hall. Even if it is crowded in a crowd, I don't feel a trace of warmth either. There were still 3 minutes left. The porcelain pond is particularly miserable, except for the occasional person who spoke to me. I didn't find any other staffs. But until I was in the crowd, I saw a few familiar figures. It was the 5 kids who showed up near my house. How could he be here? Suddenly, a bad premonition came to my heart. If these children are not alive, isn't that? During the holidays, when juniors send you red envelopes, you can return your red envelope and decline. But the ancestors give you red envelopes. You can't refuse it under any circumstances. Isn't it? It's possible that they're older than me. Then, the kids seem to notice, too. Look in my direction. I don't know how to give red envelopes to my ancestors. What are the consequences? But the sixth sense told me, nothing good will happen. Look around. That's when I found out. It wasn't just the 5 kids who were looking at me. All the people in the ancestral hall. All eyes locked. This moment, I was terrified, instinctively trying to escape. I slowly retreated towards the exit of the ancestral hall, but it happened to bump into the village chief who arrived just before this moment. Ah, there you are. Follow me. I glanced at the exit of the ancestral hall. 2 sturdy figures were standing outside the door. Seemingly, this time I was in a dilemma. Follow the village chief to the coffin of the old thing. Come and beckon me to sit on a chair in front of the coffin. Although I was a little reluctant, but that's all I can do now. The moment you sit in a chair, I felt my brain twitch instantly. The body suddenly had difficulty moving. The scene in front of him shook violently. It's as if the soul is pumping outward. That's when I thought everything was going to be fun. A familiar and gracious voice came to my mind. Son, don't be afraid. Don't give in either. Mother, how did you? Son, don't talk about anything else just yet. Don't let them pump your soul out. That's how to say it. But you're making a movie in front of you. Just say a few words. Son, Mom is now a soul body. And only you can see it. I can only help you suppress. Don't let your soul drain from your body. Other. It's up to you. Case. That's on my own. I almost used all my might. Reach into the inside pocket of your clothes. Pull out a red candle from inside. Luckily, I was prepared. Made a simple ignition device on the wax star. Just a gentle pull. The candle can be lit. But the moment the candle is lit, because there is no effect at all. No wonder no one complied with it during this period. At the moment when it was learned that the red candle was useless, a feeling of suffocation came. So much so that I didn't take the candle in my hand. Fell to the ground. The candle fell to the ground. Seems to have ignited something less. And in that moment, I was able to regain my mobility. Look down. It turned out that the candle had burned the dew that had been attached to the back of the chair. Although the plot is somewhat magical, but it finally got me out. See me regain my mobility. The village chief and the rest of the ancestral hall. Immediately it was untenable. They all came up and held me down. But except for the village chief, everyone else was held back by a force. That's my mom. Except for me. No one can see it. It's not right to stick to it. The village chief grabbed my hand. It was immediately released, trying to escape. But it hasn't been unified by me yet. Damn it. You old thing. Lao Tzu has long seen that you are not pleasing to the eye. With a foot down, the village chief fell heavily to the ground, motionless. The two people outside the ancestral hall saw the scene, and just dared to watch from the outside. I didn't dare to take a step in at all. Then he left in a hurry. Just when my mother-in-law was in power, when you think you're going to be invincible, behind him, his mother's faint voice was heard. Son, you can't stand it anymore. You go quickly. Between words, the people in the ancestral hall were red-eyed, began to struggle towards me. I didn't hesitate, immediately ran out of the ancestral hall. But it didn't go far just now. I bumped into a guy head-on. It's Yin Zhenglin. What are you doing here? How did you get out? Yin Zhenglin also asked him suspiciously. There was a soul chasing after me. Can I not come out? Hear this. Yin Zhenglin's expression suddenly became serious. Took a captive out of his pocket. He stared behind me. You this. He also said that you are not a Taoist priest. You go first. Find a place to hide in the midst of foreign energy. What kind of place is in the atmosphere? It's the living side. Oh. After escaping from the ancestral hall, I returned to the main road of the village. But then I found out, originally crowded on the main road, there was no one. Since there is no one on the road, they must all be hiding in the house. Where there are living people, a house with a red lantern hanging at the door, definitely not. The first thing I thought of was Fa Xiaojia, but after knocking on the door for a long time, no one responded. So I went to the door of another door next door. After making sure that there is no red lantern hanging, I knocked on the door again. This time there was a quick response. It was a couple who came to open the door. He used to be a neighbor who knew our family well. It's me who sees. Immediately beckoned to the door. I thought I had finally found my home. The moment you can enter the door, I regret it. Whoever is good hangs the lantern in the doorway? I sensed that something was wrong. Immediately took out a red candle from his pocket and lit it. The moment the candle is lit, the couple's eyes instantly drifted. Asked in my direction. Ah Yang. This year's Chinese New Year's Eve. You're the only one in the house. I shouldn't have eaten Chinese New Year's Eve yet. I didn't answer. Instead, go around behind them, going to sneak out. But when I came to the door, I found out. The door was locked. The couple who heard the movement, he turned his face to my place again. Asked again. Yao, it's safe here. You sit here for a while. Uncle and aunt will cook for you. After speaking, they went into the kitchen, not at all worried about me sneaking away. For the next period of time, I tried a lot of ways to leave small, but apparently as soon as it came in, it's impossible to get out easily. There is no way. I could only sit quietly in my chair, not sure what will happen in a moment. Soon, the couple came from the kitchen to squeeze the dishes and step on them, on the dining table in front of me. The second red candle burns out. I lit the last candle I carried. Yes. Eat it. You must be hungry. Your parents left early. Our two families know each other quite well. If you don't mind, you can come to our house for dinner in the future. Hear these words. I didn't feel anything. I think of the past 5 years, the experience of being alone and adrift. I was still a little moved. I resisted a little wavering in my heart. Keep reminding yourself. No way, they are not people. I can't be moved by two ghosts. Watch the candle in front of me burn out little by little. I fell into despair. The moment the candle goes out, I thought my life was coming to an end. But no. The book flashes in front of me, still looking straight at me. But that's about it. About 5 minutes passed. I finally couldn't help but ask. Let's be honest. Can you all see me as you continue to work? I couldn't see it just now. But now you can. Hear this. My brain buzzed. Isn't the red candle the key? The point is, reply. After all, I still broke the most crucial rules. Greet me. But it's still not a terrible thing. The holy saint moved the plate forward, said softly, "Eat it. Otherwise, the dishes will be cold. Friday has suffered a lot outside. You see, you're all skinny." At this moment, a strange idea came to my mind. That is it possible, as Qin Ziyuan said, my sister is really lying to me, or that the letter was not written by her at all? Maybe not all ghosts are made to harm people. Maybe. I didn't have to finish thinking about it. Suddenly, the door of the house was pushed open in a snort. A familiar figure appeared in the doorway. The figure is upright. Zuyong, that thing can't be eaten. I looked at him with a puzzled expression. I was about to say that I wouldn't eat. That's when I found out. The left hand picked up the bowl at some point. I don't know when I picked up the chopsticks in my right hand. I pick up a piece of meat. Put it in your mouth. I was so frightened that I quickly put down the bowl in my hand. Then he ran to Yin Jinglin's side. I had a hard guilt. Look back at the couple. Just when I thought they were finally going to show their true colors, they looked innocent. Walked up to Yin Jinglin, pleading, "Brother, we don't mean to hurt the vulgar young. We just wanna..." Needless to say, Yin Jinling interrupted. "I've known you as husband and wife for so many years, never had children. But you forgot, you're not human anymore. Now is your best place to be. It is to seal the reincarnation of the fetus, instead of pulling an innocent person to accompany you. If it's just to be with you, you'll be fine. But you guys do it. But he will never be able to steal the fetus and reincarnate. Brother, please, don't let us separate husband and wife, okay? We're not going to do that again. Can we see you again in the next life? It is your life. If there is a fate, naturally, we will meet." Twitter for a long time. I didn't understand anything though, but Yin Jinglin finished this last sentence. A prototype object resembling a camera was pulled out of his pocket, followed by, with a flash of light past, the couple was gone. Only the blue dust floating in the air remains. This is what happened?" I asked in amazement. "I helped them overdo it." Transit, it shouldn't. Is it the kind of Amitabha Buddha who recites sutras? I'm in the 21st century, who still uses that traditional super wind. Ah, is that a race? Then you used the prisoner before. That's for your mother. That kind of soul with a lot of resentment. Only traditional methods can be used. Deal with my mom. Iril, are you mistaken? My mom, she's clear. The words are not finished. Shadowquake interrupted. Speaking of which, I still have some business to deal with. You're waiting for me here. I'll tell you later. She said. He walked out of the room. I didn't even forget to lock the door after leaving. I sat in a chair. I thought about it for a long time. The mother was forced to die. It makes sense to be angry. But my mother just helped me stop the ghosts in the village. Yin Jinglin took out the prisoner to deal with my mother as soon as possible. That's a little wrong. Could it be that Yin Jinglin and the village? Those people are in a gang. Come to think of it, I was looking for something in the house to defend myself. Think about it. It still doesn't seem right. If Yin Jinglin and the people in the village are in a gang, he shouldn't have helped me just now, nor will the souls of that couple be exceeded. So it seems, there should only be that possibility. Maybe this village will exist. This space is not part of reality. My mother caused it. Even if the culprit is not her. This is the only possibility. 1 o'clock in the morning. Self-consumption has passed. The door creaked open. Citation. Lin is finally back. Her clothes were a little messy. There are some scars on his body. Seems to be wrestling with something. Where have you been? What happened? I asked him. He didn't answer right away. Instead, light a cigarette. Until the smoke goes out, he said slowly. The remaining souls in the village. It's all been overtaken by me. It's the ones who didn't die. It's a bit hard to pass on. This sentence is finished. There was a loud knock on the door. Zhang Zhenglin, you come out for me. You take my wife. And where did the parents earn? Lao Tzu wants to hang you up a lot. Stinky, look at the commissary. Kill my wife and children. Sin does not come out. I'll put you dead inside. There was an endless stream of shouting and scolding outside the door. In Zhenglin not only walked to my side slowly. Sit in a chair next to you. You won't be. Let's overtake all the family members who have been resurrected through the conjuring spirits. I was the first to speak. That's right. According to supernatural laws, those dead souls weren't supposed to be here. Instead, one should enter the 6 realms of reincarnation. Reincarnation. This. Who the hell are you? And also, my mother's business. You haven't explained yet. There is still an hour. It's time for me to go. A while. I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. Since you want to know, then I'll tell you. Actually, the world we live in right now, it's because of your mother's resentment and a collision with a mysterious force. Why is your mother so angry? You should know it yourself. The real purpose of my entry into this village, on the one hand, it is to find out the source of that mysterious force. On the other hand, it is to completely destroy the world. Don't let anyone else go wrong with this. Been here for a whole year. The source of that mysterious power, I didn't find out, but it's relatively simple to destroy this world. Step 1. It is to overtake your mother. Eradicate the root cause first. This would allow her to stop being a lonely ghost. I think you can understand that. Understandable. It's been so many years. I can still see him. His voice was heard. I'm already satisfied. Step 2. That's what I just did. Overpower the village's soul forbidden arts. And this third step. Seeing that he was a little hesitant, I replied. It can't be. Let all the people who are still alive here leave. Or disappear. That's right. You. And those out there. They all have to die. Why? Can't we get out of here? No. You've been here too long. The soul has merged with this world. Even if I have a way to get you to leave, you can't live in the outside world, and it will make the world still exist. Can. I didn't speak. In Zhenglin interrupted. I know what you're asking. There is a way to get out alive. That's what makes the outside world quiet. Exchange souls with her. You can leave safely. That's what your sister did. But if this world ever exists, your sister will have to come back sooner or later. I think. Don't you want your sister to come here and suffer again? I see. So, although I have my own consciousness, but now it's in my body. It's my sister's soul. Right, but your blood relatives. So whose soul is it? Don't worry too much about it. I understand. You just said you wanted me to help. It's just to die with these people outside. At this time, those outside have already started setting fires. Thick puffs of black smoke burst out of the crack in the door. That's right. Said. He pulled a bottle out of his pocket. There's a bottle of poison here. You're a smart guy. I think you should know what to do. I don't understand. I'll do it. But I have one last question. You said. At that time in the Hall of Words, if I don't do anything superfluous, what will happen? Very simple. Your soul will be withdrawn from your body. Then I copied it. At last, those outside me are all gone. Maybe it's me. That means that the deposit my sister gave me was all fake. She said goodbye to me again. It's not entirely fake either. Maybe he just wants you to die less painfully. After saying that, In Zhonglin seemed stunned for a moment. There was a slight sadness on his face, but he then stood up, said, "It's time for me to go." Between words, In Zhonglin slowly walked into the smoke, faded before my eyes. I don't know how he left, but none of this has anything to do with me. Smoke greedily eroded the last of the air in the room. I looked at the poison on the table. Memories are like a marquee, flickering in my head. I wanted to die like this, but I know no. I still have work to do. I can't just die. You can't die like that.